Hi, everybody. So when you have a doctor in the family, you ask them medical questions. A plumber, you ask plumbing questions. And when your sister's a lawyer, you ask questions like this one that I got in a text from my sister Allison. If your neighbor's bush attacks your eyeball when you're walking at night, should they pay for your optometrist bill? So I gently responded by saying, life is hazardous. Just being in the world is inherently dangerous. Now, if the bush had lurched forward and attacked the eyeball, you've probably got something there. But otherwise, short of that, shit happens, man. But she did get me to thinking about a legal doctrine that I wanted to share because it impacts all of us, and that is assumption of the risk. And it's kind of what it sounds like. If you know about a danger, understand it, and voluntarily go forward anyway, you usually can't sue later when that exact thing happens. One of the most famous assumption of the risk cases happened in the 1920s. A man went to Coney Island and rode an amusement park ride called the Flopper. The ride was basically a moving belt that was designed to throw people off balance so they'd fall down for entertainment. Shockingly, the man fell and got hurt, so he sued. And the court said, "Sir, the entire point of the ride was falling. You paid money to get on something called the Big Flopper. Falling was not some sort of surprise feature of this ride. You assumed that risk." Case dismissed. Now, assumption of the risk does not mean people or companies can be reckless or engage in bad behavior. You assume you might fall while rock climbing, but you don't assume the gym forgot to secure the ropes. You assume the risk of foul balls flying into the crowd at a baseball game. But what if the stadium had removed protective netting in an area known for frequent injuries, and you get tagged on the head with a baseball in that very area? Did you assume the risk of being hurt by a foul ball? Or did the stadium make a negligent safety decision to take that netting away? Where did your assumption of the risk end and negligent or bad behavior of someone else begin? Lawsuits are won and lost on that line. Lawyers get paid a lot of money to argue in that gray area. And by the way, you've undoubtedly signed waivers before some sort of dangerous activity or an adventure of some sort. That's the company putting into black and white the fact that you understand that you're assuming certain risks and therefore cannot sue them if that very thing happens. And to drive the point home further, back to my sister. She's a bit of an athlete. Here she was running in some sort of turkey trot or something. She assumed the risk that she could have a heat stroke or get dehydrated or sprain her ankle. But she wasn't banking on the fact that there would be a pothole in the middle of the course. Here she is in an airport during a much delayed international flight, assuming the risk that she may contract some weird disease because everybody knows that airports are filthy and that germs can just jump inside your mouth. And she's, by the way, not keeping an eye on her purse. Well, and this was just fun. We were going to visit our little brother, and she's still not keeping an eye on her purse. Okay, so what's the takeaway? Assumption of the risk is why you can't sue the ocean for being wet or hot yoga for being hot. The law just decides which risks you agreed to. For more real-life legal nuggets, follow me. Life is legal, so you gotta know the rules.